diamond ring skids across the tiled floor of Riverside Diner, spinning twice before it stops against the rubber tip of a worn sneaker. Maya doesn't breathe. The diner doesn't breathe. 52 customers, 8 staff, and 1 white busboy with a tray of half-eaten mashed potatoes all freeze at the sound. A thin metallic scrape that cuts through the hum of the ceiling fans and the sizzle of bacon on the grill. The white man in the dark hoodie is on one knee. His hand is still outstretched, empty now, palm up like he's asking a question the whole room already heard. Maya's fingers are over her mouth, her black skin warm against her palm, her apron still tied tight around her waist, the name tag crooked from a long shift. Her eyes are wide, glassy, fixed not on the ring, but on the face of the white man kneeling between table 6 and the condiment station. 5 minutes earlier, those same 52 customers had heard Connor laugh. Not a chuckle, a laugh that started in his chest and rolled out across the diner because it wanted an audience. He'd leaned back in the red vinyl booth, phone up, recording, his pale face flushed from arrogance, and said it loud enough for the kitchen to hear. "See, this is why people like you don't belong in places like this. You're just the help, girl. Know your place." The words had landed on Maya like the water he'd, accidentally, tipped from his glass 30 seconds before that, soaking the front of her uniform, mapping cold down her stomach. She had not answered. She had taken the damp napkins from her apron, dabbed the table, and said, "I'll get you another glass of water, sir," because her rent was due in 3 days and her mother's dialysis was due tomorrow. Now the water is forgotten. The phone in Connor's hand is lowered. The only sound is the fridge humming behind the counter and the sharp inhale of the white woman at table 3 who just realized the man on one knee is not a prank, not a TikTok, not a dare. Maya works the day shift at Riverside Diner and the night shift at her textbooks. She is 26. Her braids are pulled back with a black hairnet, the way the health code wants, and her shoes are the kind nurses wear, because her feet do not get to sit down between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., she knows every regular by order. The old white man who takes his tea with 3 sugars and a story about 1978. The white truck drivers who split a plate of biscuits and gravy and argue about football. The white university girls who come for cheap pancakes and free Wi-Fi. She knows the till is short sometimes, and that manager Brad will take it out of her tips if he can. But she also knows the busboy Ethan is 17, white, freckled, and sends everything he makes to his little sister's school. So when Brad snapped at him that morning for dropping a spoon, Maya stepped in. "It was me," she said, though it was. "I knocked it when I passed." Brad had rolled his blue eyes and walked off, and Ethan had mouthed, "Thank you," before disappearing into the kitchen with his face hot. She keeps a photo in her apron pocket. It's creased, soft at the corners. Her mother before the hospital, standing in front of this same diner in a church dress and a smile that took up her whole face. "We built this," her mother used to say, not because they owned it, but because they had eaten here every Sunday after church when Maya was small, and because the owner then, Mr. Peters, a white man with kind eyes, always gave Maya an extra meat pie for brain work. Mr. Peters sold the diner 2 years ago. The new owners painted the walls gray and doubled the price of fish. Maya stayed because the bus stop was close, and because her mother's hospital, Uni-Port Teaching Hospital, was 4 streets away. She could do a double shift and still make visiting hours. Connor and his friends had walked in at 1:17 p.m. You could tell they were not regulars because they stood in the doorway first, scanning, like the diner was a location and not a lunch. There were 4 of them, all white, all in designer sneakers and watches that caught the light. Connor was the loudest. He had a YouTube channel with 80K subscribers and a startup that had not launched, but he introduced himself as CEO of Disruptify to anyone who would listen. He wanted a booth, though the counter was empty. He wanted menus, though the specials were on the wall. He wanted an audience, and Maya, with her tired eyes and her name tag, became it. "Smile now," Connor said when she brought water, his phone already up, his blonde hair falling into his eyes. "Content, guys, this is what real America looks like. Hardworking, unpolished, inspirational." His friend, a white guy with a fade haircut, laughed. Maya did not smile. She set the glasses down, one by one, careful because she had been here before. Men who needed her to be a prop for their generosity, their comedy, their anger. "It's hot in here," Connor said 5 minutes later, fanning himself with the menu. "You people don't have AC." The AC is on, sir, Maya said. I can ask them to turn it up. Don't bother, he said. You're kinda used to heat, right? Kitchen, son, all that. Ethan, passing with a tub of dirty plates, slowed. His white knuckles went tight around the tub. Maya flicked her eyes at him. Keep going. Don't. The order took too long, according to Connor, though it had been 9 minutes. When Maya set the plates down, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, extra gravy on the side. He inspected the meatloaf like it might offend him. This is small, he said. You guys cheat people here. The portions are standard, sir, Maya said. I can ask the kitchen for an extra piece if you'd like. No, he said, and then he smiled, the kind that wasn't a smile. I just expected more from a place like this, but I guess I should manage my expectations, like you people do. His friend snorted. The white woman at table 4 looked down at her food. The old white man with the tea looked up, then looked down again. Maya felt the heat rise from her chest to her neck. Not from the AC, from the thing that happened when she was 10 and a teacher told her she was too ambitious for a girl. From the thing that happened last month when a white man in a car told her to smile or he wouldn't tip. She swallowed it. She had practice. Will there be anything else, sir? Yeah, Connor said. Tell me something, you're young. Why are you here? Get boyfriend to take care of you. Her fingers tightened on the tray. I'm working, sir. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to work if you find a rich man. You're not bad looking for a dark girl. The word landed. It was not the first time she had heard it, would not be the last, but it was the first time it had been said with a camera pointed at her, with a booth of white men waiting to laugh. She looked at the camera, then at Connor. Is your food okay, sir? It would be better if the service matched the price, he said, but I guess you get what you pay for. He picked up his glass, took a drink, and then his elbow moved. The glass tipped. Water went across the table, across Maya's uniform, onto the floor. Ah, he said, not sorry. Clumsy, see, this is why. Maya did not flinch. She pulled the napkins from her apron. I'll clean it. You should, he said. And you should be grateful I'm still going to tip. $5, big money for you, right? She knelt. The water was cold. The floor was sticky from years of mopped spills. She could feel the phone still on her, could hear the quiet that had fallen over the diner, the kind of quiet that happens when white people decide not to get involved. She wrung the napkins into an empty bowl, stood, and her hands were shaking, not from fear. From the math she was doing in her head, if she walked out, she lost the shift, lost the tips, lost the job. Her mother's next session was 14,000 naira. She had 9. She went to the back. The kitchen was loud, a radio playing old country, pots banging. The white line cook, Joey, didn't look up. She stopped by the sink, braced her hands on the metal, and breathed. Inhale 4, hold 4, out 4. She pulled the photo from her apron, her mother's smile. We built this, she whispered. Not the building. The moment. The decision to stay standing. The bell over the diner door rang. Maya didn't hear it. Ethan did. He looked up from the plates. A white man walked in, alone in a black hoodie and jeans, the hood down. His face was clean-shaven, his eyes gray and tired. He didn't look around for a table. He stood by the door for a second, eyes moving, taking in the booth with the 4 white men, the wet floor, the white manager behind the counter pretending to count bills, the old white man with the tea who had set his cup down and was watching now. The man in the hoodie walked to the counter and sat. He didn't pick up a menu. Brad came over. Wiping his hands on a rag, his brown hair slicked back. Afternoon, what can I get you? Nothing yet, the man said. His voice was low, even. I'm waiting for someone. Brad nodded and moved off, but his eyes stayed on the man. There was something about him, the way he sat, the stillness. Like he was used to rooms adjusting to him, not the other way around. Maya came back out. Her uniform was still damp. She saw the new customer at the counter, saw Ethan's look, saw Brad's look, but her section was the booths. She went back to table 6. Ah, you're back, Connor said. We were thinking you ran away. My food is cold now. I can take it back and have it warmed, sir, Maya said. No need, he said. We'll eat it like this, like you people eat, grateful. He picked up his fork, then set it down. Actually, say the specials for me, like you mean it, with energy, for the camera. Maya looked at the phone. The red light was on. Today's specials are grilled catfish with cornbread, or... No, Connor cut in. Like you're proud of it, like you own the place. Go. Her jaw set. Sir, I can. Do it, he said. Or are you too dumb to remember? The diner went quiet again. The white man at the counter did not move, but his head turned, just slightly, toward the booth. Maya's voice, when it came, was steady. Grilled catfish with cornbread, pot roast with potatoes, meatloaf with green beans, all served with a drink. Louder, Connor said. Smile. She did not smile. That is the specials, sir. You see, Connor said to his phone, no ambition, no drive. This is why they stay down. If you want respect, go find a rich man. You're too dark and too broke for this work. The words hit the room like a dropped tray. A white woman at table 2 stood and walked out, leaving money on the table. The old white man with the tea set his cup down so hard the tea sloshed. That was when the white man at the counter stood. He didn't speak yet. He walked slow to the end of the counter where he could see the booth clear. Brad started toward him, then stopped, because 2 other white men had come in through the door. Suits, quiet, the kind of men who didn't need to say move to make a path. They stopped behind the man in the hoodie and waited. Connor didn't see them. He was looking at Maya, waiting for her to break, to cry, to give him the thumbnail he wanted. What? No answer. Management. Get me someone who speaks good English. Maya opened her mouth, closed it. She would not give him her tears. She would give him her work. I will get the manager, sir. You'll want to listen to her, the man in the hoodie said. His voice was not loud, but it cut. Connor turned, annoyed, his pale eyebrows raised. Who are you? She speaks life and death fluently, the man said, and then he looked at Brad. Brad went pale. "Yes, sir," Brad said. "Mr. Callahan, we didn't know you were coming." The name moved through the diner like a current. Mr. Callahan, Liam Callahan, the face from the business news, from the tech conference banners, from the building lease framed in the back office that Brad never thought anyone read. CEO of Callahan Tech, 29, Forbes, billionaire, and owner of this building. Connor's phone lowered an inch. Callahan, of. Sit, Liam said. It wasn't a request. Connor sat. Liam stepped around the counter, into the open space between the booths and the kitchen door. He didn't look at Connor. He looked at Maya, really looked for the first time since he walked in. You're Maya Chukwuma. She blinked. Yes. Night shift at the library, nursing school. Your mother is at Uniport Teaching Hospital, room 12B. Her breath caught. How? 6 months ago, Liam said, and his voice changed, went quieter like he was talking to her and not the room, though the room heard every word. Storm night, this diner. A white man at table 2 was choking. Then he wasn't choking. He was gone. Heart attack. Everybody stood up. Nobody moved. Maya remembered. The rain had been hitting the windows so hard you couldn't see the street. The man had been eating alone, coughing, then not coughing, then sliding. She remembered the sound his chair made. You moved, Liam said. You jumped the counter, you put your hands on his chest, and you did not stop. Not when the manager said, wait for ambulance. Not when someone said, you'll get in trouble. 4 minutes. You counted, I heard you. 1, 2, 3, 4, until the paramedics came. The diner was so silent now that the fridge sounded loud. That man was me, Liam said. Connor made a noise. One of his friends, a white guy with a tattoo on his neck, whispered, Bro, that's the keynote. I woke up 2 days later, Liam said. Asked for the woman from the diner. They said you didn't give a name, said you went back to work. I've been looking for you since. I found you 3 days ago. Address, schedule, everything. I came today to say thank you. I didn't know I'd walk into this. He gestured once at Connor, at the wet floor, at Maya's damp uniform. But I'm glad I did. Maya's hands were still on her tray. I was just doing my job. No, Liam said. You were doing what no one else did. That's not a job. That's who you are. He turned, finally, to Connor. You asked if she knows any rich men. Connor tried to smile. It didn't work. His face was red now, blotchy. Look, man, it was a joke. We were. She knows one, Liam said. He owes her his life. One of the white men in suits stepped forward, opened a tablet, tapped. The TV in the corner of the diner, usually on sports, flickered. Liam's face came up live from his own account. 2.1 million followers. The video was already streaming. The title, Found Her. Connor's friends stopped filming. One of them actually deleted a video, finger shaking. I came to offer Maya a job, Liam said to the room now, to the phone, to the old white man with the tea who was now standing. Running my foundation. We build clinics, we fund nurses. We pay hospital bills before they become GoFundMe posts. I thought she'd be good at it. Then I watched her just now. He looked at Maya again, and his face did something it hadn't done since he walked in. It softened. You had grace when they gave you shame. You had skill when I had no breath. I don't want to hire you. He reached into the pocket of his hoodie. The diner saw it before Maya did. A small box, black, plain. I want to come home to you, he said. He got on one knee. The room moved with him, a wave of white faces shifting, standing, seeing. Maya Chukwuma, he said, will you marry me? The box opened. The ring caught the light, and that was when it happened, the moment from the start. His hand, the ring, the floor. Because Maya stepped back, one step, shocked, and her sneaker hit the ring and it fell. It spun. It stopped. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved to pick it up except Liam. He did not stand. He picked it up from his knee, held it out again. You don't have to answer now, he said. You can say no. You can say, who do you think you are? You can say, I don't know you. All true. But I know you. 3.8 GPA. You work 20 hours a week and send 12,000 home. Your mother's doctor is Dr. Boma. You study at the table when the diner is slow. You told Ethan his sister's fees were due next month, and you gave him 2,000 from your tips. Maya's mouth opened. How do you? I asked, Liam said. Not you, around, because I wanted to thank you right, and because I wanted to know if the woman who saved my life was safe. She's not here. He looked at Brad. Is she? Brad started sweating, his face going red then white. Mr. Callahan, I can explain. You let this happen, Liam said. In my building. Every month your rent comes from my account. You had one job, don't let the place rot, you failed. He stood then, finally, and the room stood with him. He wasn't tall, but he was the tallest thing in the diner. Maya, he said, say yes, say no, but don't stay here, not another minute. She looked at the ring. She looked at Connor, who was now the color of the mashed potatoes. She looked at Ethan, who was crying and not hiding it, his freckles standing out against his pale skin. She looked at the photo in her apron, her mother's face. We built this. I don't even know your last name, she said, and it came out as a laugh, a sob, a thing between. Callahan, he said. Liam, I hate onions, I can't sing, I own too many hoodies, your turn. She laughed again, wet reel. I'm scared. Me too, he said, but I wasn't scared 6 months ago because of you. She stepped forward. The ring was still in his hand. She didn't take it. She put her hand over his, closed his fingers around the box, and said, Ask me again when I'm not in a wet uniform. The diner made a sound, like air coming back into a room. Liam smiled, for real this time. Okay. He put the box in his pocket, but I'm not leaving without an answer to something else. He turned to Ethan. You, what's your name? Ethan, sir, Ethan said, voice cracking. You're the manager, Liam said. Effective now. Brad, pack your office. HR will call you. Your severance is you don't go to jail for the missing inventory I already know about. Brad's mouth opened, closed. He went to the back, his shoulders caved in. Liam looked at Connor. You're at my conference tomorrow, pitching for seed funding. Disruptify, right? Connor nodded, once his throat moving, his blue eyes darting. Security will have your name at the door, Liam said. The Maya Foundation doesn't invest in people who step on others to look tall. You wanted content. You got it. He nodded at the TV. The stream was still live. The comment count was at 18K and climbing. Your channel will get views today, not the kind you want. Connor stood. His friends stood. They left. No one touched their food. The bell over the door rang, and it sounded different going out than it had coming in. Liam turned back to Maya. Now, he said, may I take you to see your mother? I hear visiting hours end at 5. Maya's breath hitched. Her bill. Paid, Liam said. 10 minutes ago, Dr. Boma is waiting to tell her herself. Maya covered her mouth again, and this time she did cry, but it was the kind of crying that didn't need to hide. Ethan came around the counter and hugged her, and she hugged him back, his white arms careful around her shoulders, and the old white man with the tea started clapping, slow, and then the whole diner was clapping, and the sound was so big it pushed out the walls. If you're watching this, and you felt that moment in your chest, subscribe right now, because what happens next is why you can't leave. 1 week later, the diner had a new sign. Not the name, the rule. Kindness is policy. Ethan wore a shirt that said manager, and he didn't let anyone talk to the staff anyway. The Maya Foundation had an office on the second floor of the building, and Maya had a desk by the window, but she still came down to the diner on Tuesdays, not in uniform, and helped a white kid with his math homework while she ate. Liam came too. He wore a hoodie. He ordered tea. He asked Maya again on a Tuesday when the diner was half full and the sun was coming in the window and her mother was in the booth with them, out of the hospital, laughing. He didn't get on one knee. He just took her hand under the table, his white fingers lacing with her brown ones, and said, "Will you marry me, Maya Chukwuma? For real this time. No cameras, just us." She looked at her mother, who nodded, tears in her eyes. She looked at Ethan, who gave her a thumbs up from behind the counter. She looked at Liam, who was still the white man she'd given CPR to, and also a man who had seen her at her worst moment and called it grace. "Yes," she said, "for real." He put the ring on her finger. It fit. The bell over the door rang. A group of white university girls came in, laughing, and the diner went on because that's what diners do. But it was different now. The air was different. Connor's startup page updated 3 days later. Account suspended. His apology video hit 2 million views. He sat in a white room in a white shirt and said, "I didn't know." The comments said, "You didn't have to know, you had to be decent." Liam didn't duet it. He didn't have to. Ethan, the new manager, did. He stood in front of the kindness is policy sign and said, "We have one opening, it's not for you." The video hit 5 million. Maya stood in her new office and watched the comments roll in. "She's the reason I didn't quit nursing. I played this for my daughter. My dad was a Brad, I'm going to be an Ethan." She read each one. Liam came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist, and rested his chin on her head. "You okay?" "Yeah," she said, "just thinking about how close I was to walking out that day, to quitting." "You didn't," he said. "That's the story." She turned in his arms. "No," she said, "the story is you walked in." He kissed her, there by the window, with the diner below them and the city beyond that. "The story is we both did." The Maya Foundation funded its first clinic that month. Room 12B at Uniport Teaching Hospital got a plaque, "Reserved for fighters." Maya's mother cried when she saw it, then told the nurse to move it because other people need the room more than my ego. That was where Maya got it from. Ethan hired 2 more staff, both white, both told on day 1, "If a customer talks to you like Connor talked to Maya, you walk, I'll deal with the check. Mr. Callahan said your dignity is part of your uniform." One of them, a white girl with a nose ring, said, "I've never had a boss say that." Ethan said, "You do now." If you're still here, if your heart is still in this diner, do 3 things before the next video plays. First, like this video because the algorithm needs to know Grace beats clout every time. Second, subscribe because part 3 is live. He proposed to the waitress, then bought the diner. Watch what he did to the menu. Third, comment below. What would you have done if you were at table 6? Would you have stayed quiet like table 4 or stood up like the old man with the tea? Maya reads them. Liam reads them. Ethan reads them. We need to know who's still out there, being the person who moves when everyone else freezes. And if you're new here, the Maya Foundation is real in this story and real in the world. We build clinics, we pay bills, we hire people for who they are, not who they're told to be. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Because the next time someone says, "Know your place," we'll be there to say, "She does. It's anywhere she wants." The story isn't over. It's just on a new shift. The bell is still over the door, the ring is still on her finger, and the diner is still open. A chair scrapes hard against the floor of Riverside Diner, and every head turns. It's Tuesday, 3 weeks after the proposal, and the lunch rush is thick with the smell of gravy and rain. Ethan is behind the counter, his white manager shirt new but already coffee-stained, when the door opens and a man in a gray suit walks in. He is Connor. He's older, white, silver at the temples, and his smile doesn't reach his eyes. He looks around once, then walks straight to Maya's old section, like he's been here before. Maya isn't in uniform. She's in a dress, navy blue, sitting in the corner booth with her mother and Liam, picking at a plate of fries she isn't really eating because her mother keeps stealing them. Liam is in a hoodie because Liam is always in a hoodie, and his white hand is resting on the table, close to Maya's but not touching because her mother is watching. The man in the gray suit stops at their table. "Maya Chakwuma," he says, and his voice is the kind that's used to being answered. Maya looks up. "Yes." "I'm Richard Hale," he says. "I'm Connor's father." The diner goes quiet the way it did that day. Not all at once, but in pieces. The white line cook turns down the radio. The old white man with the tea stops stirring. Ethan sets down the pot of coffee he was holding and moves, slow, toward the booth. Liam doesn't move. He just looks at Richard Hale and his gray eyes go flat. "She's eating," Liam says. "Whatever you have to say it fast." Richard Hale doesn't look at Liam, he looks at Maya. "My son made a mistake," he says. "He's young, he's lost a lot. Sponsors, friends, his conference slot. He's sorry." Maya says nothing. Her mother sets a fry down. "He wants to apologize," Richard continues. "In person, not for content, for real. I'm asking you to let him 10 minutes here today." Liam's jaw ticks. "You're asking her to give him her time after he took her dignity on camera." "I'm asking her to be the bigger person," Richard says. "Because that's what you people preach, isn't it? Grace, forgiveness." Maya feels it then, the same heat she felt when Connor spilled the water. Not anger, not exactly, recognition. The way power asks for mercy only when it loses. She sets her hands on the table. Her nails are short, unpolished. "Where is he?" Richard blinks. He didn't expect that. "Outside in the car." "Tell him to come in," Maya says. "But not for me, for him." Richard nods once and goes back out. The bell rings. The diner breathes again, but it's shallow. Ethan is at the end of the booth now. "Maya, you don't have to." "I know," she says, "but I want to hear what it sounds like when it's not for views." Liam's hand finds hers under the table. His fingers are cold. "You say the word, we're out. We don't owe him a scene." "I know," she says again, "but maybe he owes himself one." The door opens. Connor walks in. He's in a white t-shirt and jeans. No chain, no watch. His blonde hair is shorter, like he did it himself. His face is thinner. He looks at the floor, then at Maya, then at the floor again. He doesn't have a phone in his hand. He stops 3 tables away. Can I sit?" Maya nods at the empty side of the booth. Connor slides in, across from her, next to her mother. He doesn't look at Liam. "I'm sorry," Connor says, and his voice cracks on the second word. "I'm sorry I said that to you. I'm sorry I did it for my channel. I'm sorry I thought it was funny. It was cruel and racist, and I..." He stops, swallows. "I watched your video, the one where you do CPR. I watched it 20 times. You didn't know him. You didn't ask if he was rich. You just moved." Maya's mother picks up her tea. She doesn't drink. She just holds it like she's holding something else. "I don't want your forgiveness," Connor says. "I don't deserve it. I want you to know I know what I did, and I want to know what I can do so I don't do it again, to anyone." The diner is listening. The white woman at the counter has her hand over her mouth. The white truck drivers have stopped arguing about football. Maya looks at Connor, really looks. She sees 22, scared, hollowed out. She sees the boy who thought cruelty was content and found out it was a camera that showed him back to himself. "You asked me to find a rich man," she says. "I did. He was dying. I didn't check his wallet first." Connor flinches. "I know." "You told me I was too dark and too broke for this work," Maya says. "You were wrong about the work. You were wrong about me. But you were right about one thing." He looks up. "I was broke," she says. "I am broke. My mother's medicine is $300 a month. I make $9 an hour. That's math, not shame. You used it like a weapon. Don't." "I won't," Connor says. I swear I won't. Don't swear to me, Maya says. Swear to the next waitress, the next busboy. Swear to them by never being the reason they shake again. Connor nods. His eyes are wet. Can I pay for your mother's medicine? For a year, not for a video, not for you to tell anyone. I want to. Maya looks at Liam. Liam's face is stone. He's not going to decide this. Maya looks at her mother. Her mother sets the tea down. You take it, her mother says. Then you make him volunteer every Saturday at the clinic, wiping tables, not talking, listening. Connor's head snaps up. Yes, ma'am, I will. Good, Maya's mother says. Then we're done here. Connor stands. He doesn't look at Liam. He looks at Maya. Thank you for letting me say it. I didn't let you, Maya says. You did it. Keep doing it when there's no one watching. He nods and he leaves. Richard Hale follows and he doesn't say anything. The bell rings. The diner exhales. Liam looks at Maya. You okay? No, she says, but I'm better than I was before he walked in. That's something. Ethan puts a hand on the back of the booth. You need a minute. I need fries, Maya's mother says, and that breaks it. The diner laughs, a small, real sound. The line cook turns the radio back up. The old white man with the tea raises his cup at Maya. She raises a fry back. If you're watching this and your chest is tight, that's the point. Stay with it. Subscribe, because next is Connor's first Saturday at the clinic, and he doesn't know the mop bucket is heavier than his subscriber count. 2 days later, Riverside Diner gets a letter. It's not from Connor, it's from Brad, from county lockup. He's been arrested for embezzlement. The inventory Liam mentioned wasn't a bluff. It was a spreadsheet and it was long. The letter is to Maya. It says, I'm sorry, I was scared you'd take my job. You were better than me and I knew it. Maya reads it once. She folds it, puts it in her bag. She doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. Ethan finds her in the office later. We got a health inspection, he says. Perfect score, first time in 6 years. Because you care, Maya says. Because you taught me to, Ethan says. You know Mr. Callahan wants to franchise. Kindness is policy in every city. I know, Maya says. He told me. I said only if you train the managers. Ethan goes red. Me. You, she says. You saw it, you felt it, you don't forget it. That's the qualification. He sits down hard. What if I mess up? You will, she says. Then you fix it. Like you fixed that table when the kid spilled his milk yesterday. You didn't yell, you knelt. That's the job. He nods slow. Okay, I'll do it. Liam comes in then, holding 2 coffees. He sets one in front of Maya. You told him. I told him, she says. Good, Liam says, because the first one opens in Austin next month, and the lease is signed, and the manager needs to be there Monday. Ethan chokes on air. Monday, Liam says. You'll be fine. Maya will be on video. I'll be in the back, and the rule is still the rule. Ethan stands. I need to call my sister. Call her, Maya says. Tell her she gets to visit you in Texas. He leaves, grinning, terrified. Liam looks at Maya. You're crying. I'm not, she says, wiping her eyes. It's the coffee, it's hot. It's iced, he says. Then it's the ice, she says, and he laughs, and she laughs, and the office feels like a place where things begin. If you're still here, if you're rooting for Ethan, hit like. One like is one person who believes a busboy can run a company. Subscribe, because part 5 is Ethan's first day in Austin, and a customer says the thing Connor said, and Ethan says the thing Liam said. Comment below, what city needs a kindness is policy diner next? We're reading, we're leasing. Saturday comes, the clinic is small, white walls, linoleum floors. Connor is there at 8 a.m. in a white t-shirt and old jeans, no phone, a mop is in his hands. Maya is there in scrubs because she volunteers too. She doesn't talk to him. She doesn't have to. She just points to the corner where a kid threw up. Connor goes, he mops, he gags once. He keeps going. At noon, an old white woman comes in with her grandson. The grandson is black, 7, holding a dinosaur. The old woman is tired. She sits. The boy drops the dinosaur. Connor picks it up, wipes it on his shirt, hands it back. The boy says, "Thank you." Connor says, "You're welcome," and his voice is normal, not performing, not recording, just a person. Maya sees it, she doesn't say anything. She writes it down in the log. Volunteer, Connor, task floor, note, gentle with child. Liam picks her up at 2 p.m. He sees the log. He doesn't say anything either. He just takes her hand, and they leave. That night, they're on the couch. The TV is off. Liam's head is in her lap. Her fingers are in his hair. "Do you think he means it?" Liam asks. "I think he means it today," Maya says. "That's all we get, today." "Do you forgive him?" "I don't know," she says. "I don't think forgiveness is a door. I think it's a hallway. I'm walking. I'm not at the end." "Do you want to be?" "I want to be where I can look at him and not feel that water again," she says. "I'm not there yet, but I'm not in the kitchen anymore either." He turns, looks up at her. "You know I'd burn the diner down if you asked." "I know," she says. "That's why I won't ask, because you'd do it, and because the diner is where you found me." "I found you because you were saving me," he says. "Don't let them rewrite it." She leans down, kisses his forehead. "I won't, but I'll let them watch it, because maybe the next Connor sees it before he opens his mouth." He closes his eyes. "Okay. If you felt that, if you're in your own hallway, subscribe. You don't have to be at the end to be on the way. Like this video if you believe today is enough. Comment, what's one thing you're doing today that the old you wouldn't have done? We're building a hallway together. 3 months later, Riverside Diner in Austin opens. The sign is the same. The rule is the same. Ethan is behind the counter, white shirt, white face, hands shaking only a little. A white man in a suit comes in, loud, looking around like he owns it. He snaps his fingers at a black waitress, new 20 name tag says Aaliyah. "Hey," he says, "you, coffee now." Ethan walks out from behind the counter. He doesn't run, he doesn't yell, he stops at the table. "Hey," he says, "we don't do that here." The man looks up. "Do what?" "Snap," Ethan says. "Her name is Aaliyah. You say, 'Aaliyah, can I get a coffee, please?' Or you don't get a coffee." The man blinks. "You serious?" "As a heart attack," Ethan says, and the words come out before he can think, and he thinks of Liam and he doesn't take them back. "Kindness is policy. It's on the wall, it's in the lease, it's in me. You can read it or you can leave it." The man looks at Aaliyah. She's standing straight, not scared. Because Ethan is standing straighter. The man looks at the door, he looks back at Ethan. "Aaliyah," he says, and it sounds like it costs him something. "Can I get a coffee, please?" Aaliyah nods. "Yes, sir, coming right up." Ethan goes back behind the counter. His hands are still shaking, but now it's from something else. Liam sends the video to Maya. He texts, "He's you." Maya texts back, "He's him, that's better." She's at the clinic. Connor is mopping. He looks up when she passes. He doesn't speak. He just nods. She nods back. It's not forgiveness, it's a hallway. They're both in it. If you're crying, good. If you're mad, good. If you're both, subscribe. Because part 6 is Aaliyah's first regular, and he's a white cop who used to be like Connor, and he asks her how to be different, and she tells him. Like the video. Comment, what would you tell him? The best comment gets pinned, and Aaliyah will read it on camera. 6 months later, Maya and Liam get married. Not in the diner, in the clinic, small, white flowers. Her mother walks her down the aisle, slow, steady, no wheelchair. Ethan is Liam's best man. Aaliyah is Maya's maid of honor. Connor is not there, he wasn't invited. He sent a card, it said, "I'm still mopping, I'm still listening. Thank you for the floor." Maya cried when she read it. Then she put it in a drawer. Liam's vows are short. "You had grace when they gave you shame. I had none until you gave me breath. I'll spend my life making sure you never have to choose between your dignity and your dinner again." Maya's vows are shorter. "I said yes when I wasn't in a wet uniform. I'm still not. I'm still saying yes." They kiss. The clinic claps. The sound bounces off white walls and linoleum floors and lands somewhere soft. If you made it to the end, if you're still here, you're our people. Subscribe because love stories don't end at the proposal. They end at the policy. Like the video to tell the algorithm that black women saving white men is not a plot twist, it's a Tuesday. Comment, what's your kindness is policy rule at home, at work, at school? We're making a list. We're going to print it. We're going to put it on the wall. And if you're new, if you just found us, welcome. The bell is still over the door. The coffee is still hot. The ring still fits. And the next story is already walking in. A glass shatters on the floor of the Austin Riverside Diner, and Aaliyah doesn't flinch. She just looks at the white man in the police uniform who dropped it, his face red, his hands shaking, and she says, "Breathe first, then we'll get a broom." The man is Officer Kent, 34, 6 months out of a disciplinary hearing for language unbecoming during a traffic stop, and he came in because his captain told him, "Go see how the other side eats." And he didn't know what that meant until he walked in and saw the sign. Kindness is policy. It's painted on the wall behind Ethan, white, block letters, and Kent stared at it for 10 seconds before he ordered coffee. Now the coffee is on the floor, and Aaliyah is on her knees with a dustpan, and Ethan is behind the counter with his hands flat on the steel, because he promised Maya he wouldn't jump to save every time, that he'd let people save themselves first. "Sorry," Kent says, and the word sounds like it hurts. "My grip." "Slipped," Aaliyah says. "Happens." She doesn't look up. "You want me to make you another?" He stops, starts again. "Yes, please, Aaliyah." She glances up then, just for a second. He said her name, he read the tag. "Cream, sugar." "Black," he says, "please." She stands, dumps the glass, goes to make the coffee. Her movements are steady. She's 20, black, new to Austin, new to this job, but not new to white men in uniform looking at her like she's a question. Her mother told her, "You don't answer with your fists. You answer with your feet. Walk if you need, stay if you choose." Today she chooses. Ethan comes around the counter. He doesn't touch Kent. He just stands there, white, freckled manager shirt, the same age as Connor was when Connor filmed Maya. "You good?" Ethan asks. Kent nods, then shakes his head, then shrugs. "I don't know." "Fair," Ethan says. "Coffee helps, so does air." Kent looks at the door. "I shouldn't be here." "You're here," Ethan says. "That's data." Aaliyah sets the coffee down. No spill, no splash. "On the house," she says, "because the floor got the first one." Kent almost smiles. It doesn't land. "I don't want." "Take it," Aaliyah says. "Policy isn't punishment, it's practice." He takes it, he drinks. His hands stop shaking. "Can I ask you something?" "You can ask," Aaliyah says. "I can choose." How do you not hate us?" After, he doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. Aaliyah wipes the counter. "I didn't say I don't. I said I'm working. Hatting takes 2 hands. I need one for the pot." Kent looks down. "I said things on the job to people who looked like you. I thought it was, I don't know, normal. Then I got suspended and my captain made me watch a video. Of you, not you, the first one, Maya, the diner, the proposal." Ethan doesn't move. "I watched it," Kent says. "Then I watched it again. Then I watched the one where the manager says kindness is policy to the guy who snapped." "That was me," Ethan says. "I know," Kent says. "I ran it back, your voice cracked." "It did," Ethan says. "Still does sometimes." Kent looks at Aaliyah. "What do I do when I'm back on the street, when I'm scared and I'm wrong and I'm the one with the gun?" Aaliyah stops wiping. She looks at him all the way. "You breathe first, like I said. Then you say the name, then you say please, then you listen. Then you go home and you write down what you did wrong before your brain tells you it was right. Then you do it again the next day." "Is that it?" "No," Aaliyah says. "That's the start. The rest is you not quitting when it's hard, like mopping." Kent blinks. "Mopping." "Ask Connor," Ethan says, and then he realizes Kent doesn't know Connor. "Never mind, it's a thing." Kent drinks his coffee. "Can I come back tomorrow?" "It's a diner," Aaliyah says. "We're open." He stands. He leaves 2 20s under the cup. Aaliyah sees them. She doesn't move them. Policy isn't punishment, it's practice. If you're watching and your hands are shaking, put them on something solid. The table, the wheel, the edge of the sink. Breathe first. Then subscribe, because part 6 is Kent's first day back on patrol after this coffee, and a black kid runs and Kent does not. 3 days later, Maya is in Port Harcourt. The original Riverside Diner has a new sign too. Liam bought the building 6 months ago, but he didn't change the name. He changed the rule. Ethan trained Brad's replacement, a white woman named Claire who used to be a teacher and got tired of watching kids go hungry. Claire is 52, gray hair, soft voice, hard eyes. She doesn't take disrespect. She doesn't give it either. Maya is there because her mother has a checkup. Uniport Teaching Hospital is still 4 streets away. The clinic Liam built is 6. Her mother chose the hospital. "I want to see the old room," she said. "Make sure it knows I won." Maya walks into Riverside at 10 a.m. The bell rings. Claire looks up from the register and smiles with her whole face. "Maya." "Claire," Maya says, "how's he doing?" He is Ethan on video from Austin. Claire turns the tablet. Ethan's face fills it, tired, happy. "We had a cop drop a glass," he says. "Aaliyah handled it." "I saw," Maya says. "Liam sent it." "She's good," Ethan says. "She's you when you were mad and still gentle." "I was never gentle," Maya says. "You were," Ethan says. "You just didn't call it that." Liam walks in, hoodie, coffee already in his hand because he knows the menu. He kisses Maya's temple. "Your mom." "Upstairs," Maya says. "Doctor says she's stubborn, medical term." "Accurate," Liam says. Claire sets a plate down. "Meat pie, extra. Mr. Peters' recipe," she says. "I called him, he gave it to me." Maya looks at the pie. "He's still alive." 81, Claire says. "Said to tell you brain work still needs food." Maya laughs and it surprises her. She hasn't laughed in this diner since the water. Now she does. "Tell him I said thank you." A white man comes in, mid-30s, suit, phone to his ear. He doesn't look up. "Coffee to go now." Claire doesn't move. She waits. The man looks up. "Hello." "Hi," Claire says. "Name's Claire, yours." He blinks. "David." "Hi, David," Claire says. "We don't do now, we do please. It's faster, actually, try it." David's face does a thing. It goes from annoyed to embarrassed to something else. "Coffee, please, to go." "Coming right up," Claire says. "Name for the cup." "David," he says, and this time it sounds like a name, not a command. Maya watches. Liam watches. When David leaves, he says thank you without being prompted. Claire wipes her hands. "One down," she says. 8 billion to go. If you just smiled, like this video. One like is one David who said please. Subscribe because next is David's office and he tells his intern to get him coffee and his intern says, "What's my name?" And David remembers. Connor mops the clinic floor at 4 p.m. It's his 23rd Saturday. He doesn't count. Maya counts. She has a notebook, not for punishment, for proof. Proof that people can. He's better at it now. The bucket does slosh. His back doesn't hurt. He listens to the nurses talk. He doesn't interrupt. When a black kid comes in with a busted lip, Connor gets the ice. He doesn't ask what happened. He waits. The kid tells him anyway. "Fell." Connor nods. "Ice helps." He gives it. The kid's mother, black, tired, looks at Connor like she's waiting for the catch. Connor goes back to mopping. Maya watches from the desk. She writes, "Volunteer Connor, task ice, note didn't ask, didn't push. Kid talked anyway." Her phone buzzes. It's Aaliyah, video. Aaliyah holds the camera steady. Kent is in the diner out of uniform in a t-shirt. He's teaching a white boy, maybe 9, how to hold a broom. "Breathe first," Kent is saying. "Then you push, not hard, just steady." The boy nods. Kent looks up, sees Aaliyah filming, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't pose, he just keeps teaching. Maya texts back, "Good." Liam comes to pick her up. He reads the note over her shoulder. "You going to tell him?" "Tell him what?" "That he's doing it." Maya closes the notebook. He knows. That's why he's not asking. They walk out. The sun is low. The clinic sign says Maya Foundation in white letters. Below it, smaller, "Kindness is policy." If you're still here, if you're counting your own Saturdays, comment. What's your mop? What's the thing you do when no one's watching? We're making a list. Not for clout, for proof. Ethan's first franchise review comes in. The inspector is a white woman named Ms. Delaney, 60, no nonsense. She watches for 2 hours. She watches Aaliyah handle a rush. She watches Ethan handle a white man who says, "I want the manager, not the kid." Ethan says, "I'm the manager and I'm not a kid. What do you need?" The man orders. He says please by the end. Ms. Delaney writes, "Policy observed, not performed. Score 100. Ethan calls Maya. He's crying. "We did it." "You did it," Maya says. "I just said the thing." "You said the thing when it was hard," Ethan says. "That's the thing." Liam takes the phone. "Proud of you, man." "Don't be," Ethan says. "Be proud of Aaliyah, she's the one who." "I'm proud of both of you," Liam says. "Get some sleep. Austin needs you tomorrow." Ethan hangs up. He looks at the diner. The sign is on. The rule is on. The boy Kent taught to sweep is asleep in a booth, waiting for his mom to get off work. Aaliyah covered him with her jacket. If you're tearing up, it's okay. Like the video so the next Ethan sees it. Subscribe so the next Aaliyah knows we're watching. 6 months after that, Connor gets a job. Not at the foundation. At a school, janitor, he asked for it. He said, "I'm good with floors and I want to be where it starts." The principal, a black woman named Dr. Ellis, interviewed him. She knew who he was. Everyone does. She asked him, "Why should I trust you with my kids?" He said, "You shouldn't. Not yet. Let me earn it. Give me the bathrooms, the hard ones, after lunch, for a year. If I'm still here, ask me again." She gave him the job. On his first day, a white boy calls a black boy a slur in the hallway. Connor hears it. He doesn't have a camera. He doesn't have a CEO. He has a mop. He walks over. He gets on one knee because that's how you talk to kids, not because he's proposing. "Hey," he says to the white boy. "You don't say that word. Not here, not anywhere. You want to know why?" The boy looks at the mop, then at Connor. "Why?" "Because it makes the floor dirty," Connor says. "And I just cleaned it. But also because it makes people dirty and I can't mop that. Only you can, by not saying it again. Can you do that?" The boy nods. "Yes." "Good," Connor says. "Now help me this spot. Push, not hard, just steady." The boy pushes. The floor gets clean. Maya hears the story from Dr. Ellis. Dr. Ellis sends a video. No face, just the mop, just the boy, just the push. Maya shows Liam. He doesn't say anything. He just puts his hand over hers. If you're holding your breath, let it out. Subscribe, because the next video is that boy, 3 years later, and he's teaching his little brother how to hold a broom. A year after the wedding, Maya's mother stands at the stove in their new house. She's cooking. She's not supposed to, she is anyway. "I'm not dead," she says when Maya fusses. "I'm just slow." Liam sits at the table, laptop open. He's on a call with Ethan and Aaliyah and Claire. 4 diners now, 4 rules, same rule. Aaliyah is talking. "We had a guy come in, said he was Connor's dad, Richard." Maya's spoon stops. "What did he want?" "Coffee," Aaliyah says, "and to say sorry to you through me." "What did you say?" "I said you're not here, but the policy is, so he can have the coffee, and the policy, that's it." Maya nods. "Good." "He cried," Aaliyah says, "when he left." "Good," Maya says again, and then, "Not good he cried, good he came." Liam closes the laptop. "You okay?" "I'm cooking," Maya's mother says. "Don't ask me questions when I'm cooking." Maya laughs. Liam laughs. The house laughs. If you're laughing too, like the video, laughter is data. Subscribe so the next one finds you. Comment, what's your breathe first moment from this week? We'll pin 3. 2 years after the water, Riverside Diner in Port Harcourt gets a new waitress. White. Her name is Emily. She's 20 from the Peace Corps, here for 6 months. On her first day, a black man in a suit comes in, loud, tired, phone to his ear. "Coffee to go now." Emily looks at Claire. Claire doesn't move. Emily turns to the man. "Hi," she says. "I'm Emily, what's your name?" He blinks. "Emeka." "Hi, Emeka," Emily says. "We do please here, it's faster, try it." Emeka's face does a thing. He's been on the other side of this. He was the manager. He was the one who let it happen. He's been out of work since. He's been in therapy since. He's been in line at this diner since. "Coffee," he says. "Please to go, Emily." "Coming right up," she says. He waits. When she hands it to him, he says, "I'm sorry," to her, to you, to me. "I wasn't here," Emily says, "but the policy was, so I'll take it." He leaves. He comes back the next day. He orders at the counter. He says, "Please first." Claire texts Maya a photo. Emeka drinking coffee, reading a book. Caption, "He stayed." Maya shows Liam. He stayed. "He's mopping," Liam says. "He is," Maya says. "We all are." If you stayed, if you're still mopping, subscribe. You're our people. Like the video so the algorithm knows mopping counts. Comment who taught you to say please. Tag them. We'll tell them thank you. The story doesn't end. It escalates. Not with yelling, with choosing. Every day, every diner. Every person who walks in with a bad day and walks out with a better one because someone said breathe first instead of get out. So here's the CTA, right where it belongs, at the end but not the end. Subscribe because part 7 is Emily's last day and Emeka gives her a letter and it says, "You let me come back. I'll let the next one come back too." Like because likes are little yesies and we need 1,000,000 yesies. Comment because your words are someone else's policy. The bell is still over the door. The ring is still on her finger. The rule is still on the wall. Kindness is policy. And you're hired.